just had to make sure because you know how the
Mm-hmm.
names of these books are sometimes. Oh, Superman number 28. Well, hold on, wait, which one? Like, there's 49 Superman books coming out this week, dude.
Yeah.
All right, just had to make sure. Well, let's get things started, Ryan, man. Hey, thanks so much for joining me on Eman's Top 3 New Comic Book Day Picks. And this is going to be for August. Hold on, I got it right here. August 18th, 2021. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here, man. I've enjoyed your content, and I enjoy your personality. You're very jovial. So I'm excited to be here to talk with you one-on-one because usually we're in like big panel things.
No, I get Ryan to myself. Well, hold on, wait, not like that, you guys. No, hold on. It's
well, you know, let's see how dinner goes first,
and then we can move from there. We'll move from there. Oh man, so man, Ryan, like I know you and I, we kind of spoke a little bit, like you know, through Messenger, and you have some picks this week that I really want to get into, and I'm none of those picks are on my list, so I really want you to talk a little bit about that, my friend. Are you ready for this? Can we do this?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and talk about it. Ryan, what is your, now again, in no particular order, this isn't like our top three. Well, it is our top three, but they're not in any particular order, everyone. This is, you know, our top 3 picks for New Comic Book Day, August 18th, 2021. So, Ryan, let's go ahead and start it off. What's your number 3 pick for New Comic Book Day?
Maybe Compass, just because I know the least about that book. That's probably like my 3rd most anticipated. It's an Image book. It's I want to say Greg Rucka is like a producer on it, I guess, in like movie terms, you know. He's these guys that are writing and doing all the work and stuff on it, they basically came to him. So he's kind of like producing under the Image brand this story that they told him, and it's about this character that she's young and she's Middle Eastern, around 1300 AD. So you're talking like late medieval period and stuff. Or no, actually, I think that'd be pre-medieval. But anyway, like, so she's kind of an Indiana Jones, Nathan Drake type of character. But she's of Middle Eastern descent, and so she comes into like England and stuff, and she's like breaking into this house and everything, like this old castle, you know, old ruins and stuff, and she's finding the things that she needs to find, and then of course she gets double crossed, and so then she kind of she gets injured in a battle, you know, so you get a nice action set piece there, and then we're off into the English countryside. And I think what makes this part of the book really interesting is because history has always been written by the victors, and so there's this weird like you know, I guess like white people have kind of told a lot of the stories that we hear all these years because they were writing from their perspective. And this story is written from the perspective of this young Middle Eastern girl, and she comes into like old England, you know, and in the Middle East at this point, they've already developed literature and they have aqueducts, and like technologically their society was very much more advanced than whenever they go into England. And so you get this really cool perspective where she doesn't like talk down to the English as if like, you know, she's better than them necessarily, but she kind of puts them in check, as in like, they're like, where are you from? And she's like, the middle. At first they think she's a demon, right, because of the color of her skin. So she convinces them to be civil, and then the way that she talks to them, she explains like, no, like I come from the Middle East. And they're like, what is that, like some place on the other edge of the world or something? And she's like, no. And so she's explaining the Middle East and how they have this technology and like their society is advanced and stuff. And so you really get the sense of perspective as if this is being told from you know, a different perspective than pretty much any other story in like, you know, modern current culture.
Someone mentioned this book to me a while back because you said it yourself right there. The main character is a cross between Indiana Jones and Nathan Drake, and that's what captured me the first time I heard this book, and I haven't picked it up, so I definitely have to go back and pick up Compass number 1, 2, and now number 3, because this sounds awesome. This sounds like something that I really should be reading right now, and I completely forgot to pick it up. I had to kind of cut down on books, but now I'm thinking about it. I have to go back and pick this one up.
Yeah.
Let me read a little bit about Compass number 3 writers. There's 2 writers on here. We have Robert McKenzie and Dave Walters. Art's from Justin Greenwood. This is a Greg Rucka book. Now, according to League of Comic Geeks, I have it right here. It's on my other screen. According to them, Greg Rucka proudly presents a new direction in adventure with Compass. Evil pursues Shahida. I don't want to butcher the name, so I completely, I apologize to all my Middle Eastern viewers here. Shahida El Abian to the ends of the earth and miles beneath it. The quest for the cauldron of eternal life takes Shahi. I like that, man. I'm gonna go with Shahi.
Yeah.
They did it for me.
Go
Shahi and her one-time sister in arms, now enemy, Ling Hua, deep within the darkest caverns of Christendom, where the treasure hunters face monsters, visions, and the Legion of the Dead. Legion of the Dead, like Legion of Comics. The acclaimed Old Guard Tales Through Time team of writers Robert McKenzie and Dave Walter and artist Justin Greenwood plunge comic books' boldest new heroine to thrilling depths of danger. This sounds super, super fun. Again, it's a book that I should have picked up, and now reading this, I'm like, dude, I really want to know more about it. So for sure, because of this right here, I'm going to go back and pick up 1, 2, and then now 3.
Yeah, I suggest it. I really enjoyed it. It's definitely more of a slow burn. It's not a book that has really been moving super fast, but it's like building this huge world and really giving you an idea that these things could really happen. They really exist. And then, like I said, I think the perspective shift that it gives you, it's like we were talking about Hawaii earlier, like their version of history, that culture is going to have a different version of history than what's told by the people on this side, on the mainland, So I think having a story told from not the Caucasian perspective is really cool, especially from a historical viewpoint.
I like that. That's a way to look at it. I like that. I'm going to keep an eye out. I'm definitely going to go back and pick up 1, 2, and 3 for this. Let me get into my number 3 pick. Now, I'm not sure. I'm looking at my little list here, and I think I'm going to start off with this one right here. I liked the first book of this, new series from Aftershock. It pretty much puts you right into the thick of things. The backstory for the main character was pretty much given to you right there in the first couple of pages, and then after that it was all adventure, and I want to know what happens next. I'm talking about Beyond the Breach number 2, written by Ed Brisson, art from Damian Cicero. And I know I've pushed it in the past, but we have Beyond the Breach number 1, C-list villains, exclusive by Rudy Al, still available on RKFA Comics. Shameless plug, I know. Hey, Ryan, did you read number 1 though? Did you dive into number 1?
I did not get to. That was actually a week I was kind of chest deep in personal life issues, and I didn't get to read many comics. So that one did slip past me, but it is on my list to read as soon as I get around to it.
Now, the first one, like I said, it pretty much puts you right in the middle of everything. The main character, Vanessa, her boyfriend cheated on her with her sister. Her mother just died. She took a road trip towards California, and this whole weird thing happens where pretty much these creatures show up during her drive. She ends up picking up an Ewok thing by the name of Kai. Pretty much adopts a young kid whose parents were taken away from him, and now she's on the run. She's trying to survive. So part 2, I guess we're going to find out a little bit more about it. Let me read a little bit about this book right here. The breach has hit California. Thousands of interdimensional creatures now trapped in our world have begun to wreak havoc, leaving a trail of bodies up and down the coast. Vanessa is fighting to save those in her care when she encounters a strange man and a traveling companion, C-O-M apostrophe P-A-N-I-O-N. There's something going on right there. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. A man who may hold the secret to what the breach is and how it can be stopped, but is he a friend or foe? Is he here to help or kill her? Okay, all right. Something going on now with number 2. It's not just running away from monsters. It's she runs into someone else, and she's kind of sketchy about this guy. This feels very much like it still feels very much like an 80s adventure type book. I'm still all about it right now.
That's a pretty solid sell there. Like, nobody's really described it as an 80s action horror kind of thing, but that really intrigues me because what's it called? Big Trouble in Little China? That's what comes to mind whenever you start talking about like interdimensional stuff and like being lost in where you're at and stuff.
Think Big Trouble in Little China mixed in with Stranger Things. just that feel of the book is that's perfect. Yeah. Oh man, Jack Burton, me.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Kurt Russell is another voice that I was always trying to do. You old Jack Burton. Oh, dude, he's one of the best like 80s characters, man. That guy, I loved it.
I love that he's like he's like the main character of the story and not the hero at all.
Exactly.
Like he's in the background of all the major action pieces. It's crazy.
That's exactly it. It's exactly it. Oh man, so I'm looking forward to this one right here. Beyond the Breach number 2 is my number 3 pick. Ryan, let's go ahead and get into your number 2 pick. So, Ryan, out of all the books that you sent me, what's your number 2 pick, my friend?
I'm gonna play Supergirl here. I really like Tom King's work. I love the way that he writes. The artwork is Belquist Evely. She has a very unique style. It has like this very like soft but colorful setup to it and everything. And so I really like where this book has gone with the first one. I haven't read the second one yet, but I'm going to catch up on that for sure. But I really like Tom King's writing. Batcat number 6 was another book that almost made my list because it's one I've been enjoying. But I ended up cutting that because I was only going for 3. But that easily would have been probably the 4th book on my list for this week. So there's definitely the Tom King factor that's keeping me on Supergirl. And so I'm excited to see where this story continues to go.
Let me read a little bit about this one right here. Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow number 3, written, like you said, by Tom King. Art's from Belquist Evely.
That's how I say it. So
correct me in the comments down below. Let us know. I'm sorry, I should have probably looked this one up also. Supergirl's journey across the cosmos continues. Her hunt to bring the Killer Krem to justice brings her and the young alien and her carrier to a small planet where they discover that there are still some very small minds, even on the outer edges of the galaxy. The cold welcome the locals give the Woman of Steel makes her suspicious enough to go looking for secrets they want to keep buried. And what she finds is nothing short of horrifying. Can she and Ruthie get off the planet alive now that these deadly sins have been exposed? Ooh, that sounds interesting. I'm not a Supergirl reader, but I want to know what's going on now. Like, did any of that make sense to you?
It's definitely referencing the journey that was set up in the first issue. So, we kind of know where that's going. Think True Grit. If you like True Grit and the way that story is set up, it's kind of just like that. Like, Supergirl is Rooster Cogburn, and the little girl shows up, and her pa was killed at the beginning of the book. And so she's out for revenge on the man that killed him, and she wants to hire Supergirl to track this man down and kill him.
True Grit. I know nothing about that, but okay. For people who are watching,
oh my god, how do you not know True Grit?
If you know True Grit, this seems like this is a good one to find. Ryan's letting you know if you're into True Grit, read Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow.
Yes,
I don't know anything about True
Grit.
Go
watch True Grit. What are we doing this for right now? Come on, man, that's a great movie.
All right, I'll go hunt for it now that you mentioned it, I'll go ahead. All right, so it's Eman's top 3 new comic book day picks and Ryan's number 1 movie recommendation.
Which is weird. I'm usually not a movie person, but oh man, that's such a good one.
True. Okay, I'll look that one up. All right, my friends, let me get into my number 2 pick. My number 2 pick for New Comic Book Day, I'm probably going to go with Boom Studios' Eat the Rich number 1, written by Sarah Gailey, art from Pius Bach. Please help me out. This is a bad name enunciation episode, so I apologize to all of the artists involved in all of these books. Now, we all know, as of right now, if there's a number 1 from Boom, Aftershock, or Vault, it's one of those things where you just have to kind of pick up, right? You just have let's go ahead and get a copy of this just to make sure, because Ross Ritchie's out there on Instagram world telling everyone, hey, keep an eye out for this. I bet he was promoting Eat the Rich number 1, and it's something that, okay, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and do it. I'm just going to bite and not really know too much about it. Have you read anything about Eat the Rich number 1?
No, I actually haven't even heard about this title, so
Well, let me go
interested.
ahead and read the synopsis for you then, Ryan. What unspeakable horror eats away at the heart of Crestfall Bluffs? With law school and her whole life ahead of her, Joey plans to summer with her boyfriend Astor in the seemingly perfect hometown of Crestfall Bluffs. It's a chance to finally meet Astor's family and childhood friends, all while enjoying a vacation with every need attended to by servants. But beneath the affluent perfection lies a dark, deadly rot. Will Joey discover the truth before it's too late? And if she does, can she survive to tell the tale? I look. I'm liking all the horror stuff that's coming out. I'm not gonna lie. I'm liking all the. I'm not a horror genre kind of a guy, but I'm biting the bullet because it is really mainstream right now. Hey, you know what? Look, I'm gonna go into it and see if it's a good read. I usually stick with books for about 3 books anyway, just to see if they're good reads. And if it's a fun read, I'm gonna continue on with it. And if it's not, hey, look, I have the first 3 books and see what happens.
Who wrote that book?
This
I didn't
one
catch the name.
written by Sarah Gailey.
Sarah Gailey. That name sounds slightly familiar, but the artist there, Pius Beck, he has a book called Slightly Exaggerated that he did with Curtis Clow, and that book is really cool. I love the illustrations. It's another sort of Indiana Jones, Nathan Drake type female character, Tomb Raider, Lara Croft stuff, but it's like and like the way that he does artwork and colors and stuff, like it has this like really great, just like, at least in that book, it has like a real dream vibe to it, kind of like soft line, like thinner lines with more like soft colors on it. So I'll definitely keep an eye out and see what he does here, because I like the way he does like the action sequences, you know, whenever she's like climbing around on caves and stuff, and when she dives off the cliff, you know, he really presents that type of action very well. So I'm interested in this book to see how he does all of it here.
Okay, I have a non-comic book related question for you because you brought it up a few times already. So my question to you is this: Lara Croft or Nathan Drake?
Nathan Drake.
Okay. Oh, you heard? Did you hear that, you guys? This is a Nathan Drake guy right here. Oh.
I
knew
of Lara. Yeah, I mean, I knew of Lara Croft like growing up, but I never had a PlayStation, so I never played the original ones. I like her in the new games, you know, but by the time I started playing, Uncharted 1, 2, and probably even 3 by that point. So I was already endeared to that character. Plus, I like Sully a lot, so like that's a 1-2 punch of just like a duo of great characters. I hope the movie does it justice.
Plus, honestly, Naughty Dog has some of the best game mechanics, and honestly, in my opinion, that they have like some of the best voice acting in video games. Also, like they choose the right actors, because I feel it when I hear a lot of these voice actors in the Naughty Dog games, like The Last of Us, Uncharted, like those 2 games, you actually feel the emotions coming in.
The cinematic qualities are insane.
Exactly.
Even Activision with Call of Duty and all that money, they still like their games. They always tried to make them very like action cinematic, and it never really worked for me as like a cinematic style, you know. But something about Naughty Dog, they know how to just like take a serial drama and just like really nail the vibe of it in video game format.
Yeah, I concur. But I'm going to go ahead and bring it back because we're talking comic book here. But I'm with you. I feel you on that one right there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right, my friend. I think we're down to our last number 1 book here. Ryan, talk to me, my friend. What is your number 1 book for New Comic Book Day coming up?
Catwoman number 34.
Hold on.
This series. Go ahead.
Are you asking me or are you telling me? Because the way you said it. I'm Ron Burgundy.
Catwoman number 34. This was the selection out on the list that I really I knew immediately. Like as soon as I looked at what was coming out, I was like, Catwoman, like that's an easy choice. The other 2 I was kind of up and down on because I wanted to be a little more diverse than just like 3 DC books or something. Or like 3 female books, but I think I ended up doing it anyway. So do you want to read a little bit what it is?
Yeah, sure. Catwoman number 34. Writer is Rom V, who is killing it right now. Who, honestly, James Tynion the fourth, you watch out, man, because this guy is hot on your heels. Not that you're doing anything wrong, but Rom V's coming up, man. And then we have artist Fernando Blanco.
I think Rom V is the next Tynion, and Tom Taylor is the next Scott Snyder.
Ooh, you heard that right here. I don't know. Scott Snyder's doing real good right now with Noctera, and I know Tom King, he's got his ups and downs. Well, Scott Snyder does too, because the metal and death metal stuff. But okay. Well, I digress. The magistrate comes from Gotham and Alleytown, stands at the last place in the city untouched by their totalitarian forces, but being the last bastion of freedom in a police state makes Selina's kingdom most inviting for Gotham's roads. Surrounded on all sides by law enforcement gone bad and facing a potential invasion by the city's villains, Catwoman finds herself fearing for her quest to keep Alleytown safe could instead lead to its demise. But all is not lost as Batman arrives in Alleytown, breaking his and Selina's vow to give each other a 1-year break. Ooh, that's deep right there. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Now the magistrate seems like they're affecting anything and everything that's Gotham related right now, right? I mean, they're bringing they're making them the big anti-hero type whatevers, right? Characters.
Yeah. They're locking down, and nobody's allowed to wear a mask is basically what it comes down to. So if you're wearing a mask, then you're in the crosshairs.
So this is a little confusing to me, because I thought Future State were supposed to be kind of like what if books, but it feels a lot like what happened in the Future State books are bleeding over into the regular series. Like, I thought that they were supposed to be separate. So, like, could you explain that to me?
Their Future State was it was basically a look forward at where the DC universe was headed. And so you were literally seeing the future of series that started in March after Future State ended. So they like the earliest books are the Batman ones. So in Future State, all the Batman family stuff that all took place in like 2025 or something, you know. So that's the future we're headed toward, is like this lockdown with the magistrate and all that stuff. And so that's what they're establishing in Batman right now. And that's what's starting to bleed over into like Catwoman and Nightwing and all of that. So we're like on a path to get to what Future State was. It was a glimpse into the future of all these different stories.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense, because a lot of the books that I was reading, they did seem a little bit more futuristic, and like some of the characters seemed a little bit older than they may have. Like, for example, like Aquaman, like that was supposedly Aquaman's son, and he looked a little bit older than what he was supposed to be, or something weird like that.
Yeah.
And then Harley Quinn, like her book seemed real futuristic. So okay, so that makes a lot more sense to me now. So Future State was more like, hey, look, this is what's coming in the future. Well, let's go ahead and give you a glimpse now.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Because I thought it was more of like a what if Elseworlds, type.
Yeah,
of
like
book.
in Future State Shazam, Billy Batson had lost his powers, and he was like fighting in hell to get Shazam back. And so that's what's going on in the Shazam title that just started. Like he's going on that path because he's powerless. So he's on that path to go find Shazam, and he's going to have to go into hell and fight his way out.
Gotcha.
So you had that, like Teen Titans. Future State was like a big whole thing of like all the Titans were, the tower was destroyed, and in the rubble you could see all the dead Titans, and it even had some of the new ones that we didn't recognize then, but then they introduced them in Teen Titans Academy when that started. Gotcha. And so we're headed down the path of like, who was it that destroyed Teen Titans Tower, and like, who took out all of the Teen Titans and stuff. So it was like a glimpse into the future, and we're working toward those futures at this point.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense to me. I wasn't sure. Okay, well, thanks for explaining that to me. I appreciate it. Now I have a better understanding as to what's happening regarding what I've already read. All right, gotcha. Yeah. Well then, let's get into my number one pick. Again, this is in no particular order, unless you're Ryan, where he already told you that Catwoman is his number one pick. But in no particular order, this is my number one pick. We're gonna go with Aftershocks God of Tremors #1, written by Peter Milligan, art from, I'm going to say it's Peter Kowalski. It's P-I-O-C. I'm completely butchering every single person's name tonight. Spelled P-I-O-T-R. I'm going to go with Peter until someone else corrects me down. Comment down below. Let me know if I'm even saying these names correctly, you guys, please. All right.
I mean, I pronounce every name 100% correct in my head every time. But what y'all hear, I don't know. It changes.
Gotcha. Well, let me read a little bit about this one right here. Aftershocks Comics, a 19th century gothic horror of exorcism, demonic worship, and epilepsy. When Aubrey has his first seizure, he's pulled out of school and hidden away in the family's remote country estate. His father, a high-ranking English priest, tries to chase the devil out of Aubrey, but maybe the devil lurks in the grotesque pagan effigy that dwells on the grounds, and maybe the devil will turn out to be Aubrey's only ally. A singular night of nightmarish terror and creeping enlightenment told against the backdrop of ignorance and brutality. God of Tremors springs from the fertile imagination of award-winning writer Peter Milligan and illustrated from Peter Kowalski. That sounds super interesting, and I think, to my understanding, this is another one of Aftershocks one-shots. Let me verify that real fast.
Well, you know, Peter Milligan is writing Inaki Miranda's Out of Body book.
That's right. He's also writing that book too, and then with Inaki drawing that, and of course Ava de la Cruz on coloring it.
colors.
Oh, yeah. And Out of Body, I think, is a fantastic book. I'm honestly, if you don't like Out of Body, cool. More Out of Body for me. I'm not even gonna fake.
I love it.
I think it's
I love like how many layers are written and how well paced it is. I think it's great. So I'm excited for that, and I'll check out anything else Peter Milligan does at this point.
And to verify, God of Tremors is a one-shot, so this is only one book. This cover price is $6.99, so it's good. Aftershocks done this already. They've done like 2 or 3 books recently where they're just one-shots, and they weren't bad. That Eve book was super interesting, really weird and creepy. That was about the tattoo artist. Did you read that one?
Eden.
I
didn't read it, but I heard a lot about it.
That one was really uncomfortable, and the writer of that book did a good job of leading you in that path. Like, it makes you want more, but they also ended it, and I don't know if it's because of COVID, if this, whatever their strategy is over there at Aftershock, but that Eden book really got me like, dude, I want more of this. So I'm hoping.
Pretty sure that was Cullen Bunn.
Yeah, that one was. It was Cullen Bunn. That one, again, creepy AF. And I'm hoping to get the same kind of feeling out of this one right here. God of Tremors sounds super creepy. And
what's the page count on it?
Page count on it is not listed on this page that I'm looking at. But with a little bit of editing, 48 pages. 48. Told you, a little bit of editing. I'm going to let you guys know. 48 pages on that one right there. So it's going to be a decent read. It's going to be, you still breeze through it in about 20 minutes, right? It's not going to, it's not going to take up too much of your time. But it sounds really interesting, and I really want to know a lot more about this. And just looking at some of the images on Aftershocks page, it looks real creepy. It looks pretty freaking creepy. So looking forward to that one.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. I'm gonna have to check that out.
For sure. Well, Ryan, thank you so much. That's it, man. That's our top 3 each New Comic Book Day picks for
Easy
August
peasy.
18th. Easy peasy, man. Do me a favor, let everyone watching know how they can find you on social media.
Probably the best place to find me is right here at New Guy on Instagram. I'm on Twitter at New Guy as well. Pretty much anywhere that has social media stuff, at New Guy will find me. So use that. I just released a short story on Vocal. So if you have time to go check that out, the link in my bio on Instagram will take you there, and I believe on Twitter as well. So click that link, newguy.com, and it'll take you to my Vocal page where that story's at, and you can read that and enjoy it. So that's a lot of what I got going on right now.
I love it. I didn't know that you had a vocal track going for a story. I'm everybody got to fall asleep very nicely if I go play a little bit of a new guy tonight. And is that what's gonna happen, or is it gonna creep me out? Like, is it gonna give me nightmares?
Oh, I would definitely be more of a monster in the closet type.
Booga, booga, booga. All right, good to know. Good to know. And then, of course, you guys can find me with the C-List Villains podcast. New episodes are released every Saturday on iTunes, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app. We also have a live show every Monday and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's 11 Eastern for all you East Coast folks. Find us on YouTube. That's it for our top 3 new comic book day picks. Ryan, thank you so much for joining us. Until the next issue. Deuces.